Welcome to those of you who are watching. Appreciate you joining us with Life Lessons with Lane. And we've got a guest here today, Miss Lori Gilroy from Operation Christmas Child. Now, do you identify with Operation Christmas Child or Samaritan's Purse?
Operation Christmas Child.
Okay, all right. So with Operation Christmas Child, and we're going to be talking with her about the shoeboxes. If you've been around at all, you know about the shoeboxes. In fact, it's like outgrown. It's not just a church setting. I mean, secular groups do it a lot too. So again, I've got Ms. Lori Gilroy here with us, and Lori, you've been to talk with our WMU, I think. Mm-hmm. It was our women's group about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that, and wanted to bring her in here to kind of talk with other folks, kind of get a broader reach to talk about Operation Christmas Child. And so, but before we get to that, just tell us a little bit about you, because I mean, this is going to extend beyond Emmanuel Baptist Church, but you're not a member of our church, and so just tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from, and tell us about your family. Anything you want to tell us about you.
Well, I'm originally from Indiana,
okay.
Anderson, Indiana, which is just north of Indianapolis on the I-69 corridor. I lived there until I married my husband. Well, I attended university at Indiana University in Bloomington.
Hey, they're doing good in football now.
They are doing very well.
Are you a football fan?
Well, I'm an Indiana.
Okay, all right. So it doesn't matter what sport. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. In case you don't know, follow college football, they're doing extremely well this year, and that's that's the highest they've ever been, I think.
Well, last year we did well, but we've never been this high.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's fine. And so I married my husband, who was in the military. So we moved around a bit, and we moved to Hinesville, Georgia, in 2000.
Okay.
That is Fort Stewart is where my husband was stationed.
Right.
And then we left briefly. He was a drill sergeant at Fort Knox, and then we came right back, and he retired here.
Okay.
So we've been here since 2020, basically, except for that one tour at Fort Knox. And so we retired here. My husband wanted to start his own business, and since we knew a lot of people in the area, it was the best place to start. And I like the weather here, so we stayed.
It is a little bit warmer here than it is in Indiana. So what is the business?
He's a contractor.
Okay.
He renovates houses mostly.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And my son now works with him too. I have two grown sons. Clayton, like I said, he works with my husband, and Brandon is in the military, and he is in Italy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty awesome.
Do you consider visiting?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, we are going next summer to visit him. I'm very excited.
So, like, I guess it's if you're planning that far out, I guess it's a long-term service that he's got there. But.
Oh, yeah, he'll be there for 3 years.
Okay.
So, we've got plenty of time to go visit him.
Well, good. Oh, Italy. I'd love to go visit there sometime. Maybe I should send my kids into the military. So, anyway. So, all right. So how did you, all right. So we're talking about Operation Christmas Child, of course. How did you connect with that? Have you been a part of that for a long time, or what?
I have not. This is my third year as a full round year volunteer for Operation Christmas Child. How I came to it, I had always known about Operation Christmas Child, and when my kids were growing up, we would pack boxes together, talk about, helping children in need, giving them gifts that, they might not otherwise get.
Right.
But that's all I really knew about it. And then I attend First Baptist Church Hinesville.
Okay.
And so we were the drop-off location for OCC in Hinesville. And the drop-off team leader was retiring. She was stepping down, and they were looking for someone to replace her. Well, there was some confusion between the church and Operation Christmas Child, and it ended up, though I had said that I would take it over, they didn't know. So I was, planning to be running a drop-off location. And so I started finding out more about Operation Christmas Child, because that's what I do when I decide to do something.
Right.
And I became more intrigued by the ministry. And then it ended up, National Collection Week happened, and nobody was bringing their boxes. And we realized it's because we were not the drop-off location anymore. It had moved to Mount Zion Missionary Baptist. So, also because once I started ministry, I want to know as much about it. So
Sure.
I volunteered to work the processing center in Atlanta. And when I was there, I was amazed by the scope of the ministry. It was, I'd heard about millions of shoeboxes, but it's hard to really, picture that. But when I was working at the processing center, there were hundreds of volunteers in there working together to inspect these shoeboxes and, send them down the conveyor belt. Everyone working joyfully, everyone happy to be there,
Right.
And periodically we would stop, and the whole warehouse, it's a huge warehouse, would stop to pray. And they would not, move on until it was silent and everyone had stopped to pray.
Right.
And it was really touching to me that they are so into praying for those shoeboxes that, and then they pray on them before they get in the trucks, and then they pray on them as they close the trucks. They pray on them as they drive away. Every step of Operation Christmas Child is covered in prayer, which I thought was amazing. So then
if you don't stop, somebody there is going to be like, shh, stop.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will go over. Stop. We are praying.
That's right.
Everyone is praying.
Yeah.
But we've got to get all these boxes done. No, it'll get done.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to stop and pray. And so anyway, then a few months later, anything that you do for Operation Christmas Child, they capture your information. So they contacted me just to talk to me to see if I would be interested in volunteering. And as I spoke to the representative, I could see the seeds that God had planted that were sprouting to show me the path that He had already prepared in advance for the next work that He had for me to do. Because I was in a period of my life where things were shifting. My kids were grown. I didn't have... I do a lot of things at church, but I didn't have a ministry, that I could really take hold of, and God just brought that along and said, this is it, this is next.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, I want to get back to the processing center because I actually have secured a place for people from our church to go and do that. But I don't think they understand. They don't get it,
Yeah, they don't.
because they haven't
If they've never done it, they don't. Yeah.
And so I want to try and encourage more people from our church to go and do that. And we got the bus, but the bus said, we're set to go. But anyway, I want to get back to that. But I guess just tell us a little bit. You said you've done some research on Operation Christmas Child, and that. Okay, so help me. I think that this is right. Operation Christmas Child is a part of the ministry of Samaritan's Purse. Is that right?
Yes, we are the largest project of Samaritan's Purse.
Okay, so I guess tell us. Well, can you tell us anything about Samaritan's Purse that is not Operation Christmas Child? I didn't ask you to look into that.
The disaster relief, all of that is not Operation Christmas Child. However, all parts of Samaritan's Purse work together.
Okay.
Like when there is a disaster in a certain area, most likely Operation Christmas Child is already there with teams that are already tasked with dealing in their local communities, passing out shoeboxes. Well, then we can get there before other people or other organizations because we already have those people on the ground.
Right, it's local. Yes, that's right.
So the same people who work for or volunteer for Operation Christmas Child then will help Samaritan's Purse come in for disaster relief.
Gotcha.
Their
Okay.
churches, their volunteers are already...
It's about that time that Franklin Graham comes in and shoots a video or something like that. That's right. I got you. Okay, so tell us then specifically about Operation Christmas Child. Anything that you've learned through the research that you did, or now that you're experienced in it and that kind of stuff, just tell us a little bit about them and what they do and how good it is and all that.
Okay. The mission of Operation Christmas Child is to share the good news of Jesus with children throughout the world who might not otherwise have a chance to hear it. We call our shoeboxes go boxes. Go boxes.
Uh-huh.
They are gospel opportunities.
Huh.
Every shoebox that is packed is a gospel opportunity for a child who will receive it. That it's coming with the shoebox is the message of Jesus' birth, life, death, and resurrection being told to children who might not otherwise have a chance to hear it. We like to say that OCC is a church-to-church ministry. That is because churches that pack and send shoeboxes are directly supporting local churches who use the shoebox gifts and the gospel materials that are provided with it. So together, the local church worldwide is fulfilling the Great Commission. And we don't ever have to leave our local area. They don't have to leave their local area.
Right. So I guess this is like, when I think of it, I think of when I fill out a box or whatever, I think of it going to, the jungles of Africa or something like that. But you just said that if there's a storm here in the States, it happened.
Okay. Not in the United States. The only place in the United States, it is a foreign mission.
Okay.
The only place in the United States that they can go to are Indian reservations because that is Indian land.
Right.
If it is actual, the United States, they don't go anywhere in the United States.
Gotcha.
Go out into the world
Sure.
to places that have disasters.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So, so they, we give these boxes, we bring them, and all that kind of stuff. So, what is the process that it goes through? Let me. I've told my church before, and I didn't tell you this in advance, but I've been through every step of the process that I know about. So I filled a box. We fill boxes, and in fact, we've only got one more Sunday. Wait, hold on. No, they're due this coming Sunday at our church.
Should be this year.
Yeah.
This week. Mm-hmm.
So me and my wife, we have some shopping to do. But anyway, so obviously I've done that.
Uh-huh.
I've been to the processing center. I've done that a few times, and this will be the first time that I've gone in probably 10 years. It's been a long time since I've been. But I've also been on site when they were passed out. I did I went on a mission trip in 2016 to Jamaica, and no, it wasn't the resort area. We were on the poor side, the southern side of Jamaica, and actually, the first James Bond film, Dr. No, was filmed on that south side. There's a place called Dr. No Beach, or James Bond Beach, I think, and it's where it's filmed. Anyway, that's a very, very poor section there. And so we were able to be a part of where they actually distribute it to the kids. So we saw the gospel presentation and passing it out to the kids and those kind of things. And it's so interesting. I mentioned this to Emmanuel a couple of years ago, I think. You see those videos, we show those videos, the promotional videos every year of Operation Christmas Child, and it shows when the kids get those boxes, and it shows them lighting up, and they're singing and all this kind of stuff. And I'm kind of skeptical. I shouldn't be, but I'm kind of skeptical. And so when I see something like that, I'm like, is that really how it is, or are they just capturing one single moment or something like that, and then the rest of it is like total chaos and all that kind of thing? But I was there. I saw it being passed out. I saw the gospel presentation being given. I saw the kids' reactions. And what we see on the promotional videos is an accurate representation of exactly how it is on site. And so, anyway, all that to say that I've been through the process, the stages that I know of. Tell us how does this process unfold? Is that a pretty accurate thing of how it unfolds?
You were just missing one step.
Okay.
So you pack a shoebox, and if you're a member of a local church like you are, then you bring it to Emmanuel, and somebody here will take them to a drop-off location.
Okay.
That is the step that you are missing.
Okay. I haven't seen
Volunteering at
that.
a drop-off location.
Uh-huh.
That's where all of the shoeboxes in the area will converge. Everybody brings their shoeboxes. Like I said, a lot of times it's a church bringing all of their shoeboxes, but individuals can also go to drop-off locations to bring their individual shoeboxes. We have 2 locations in Savannah this year. Last year, we did not have any locations in Savannah, so we are thrilled. We have New Life Fellowship and Compassion Christian are both going to be drop-off locations this year that you can take your box to. So volunteering at a drop-off location is an excellent way to step deeper into the ministry as well. We love to have new volunteers every year to work with the drop-off locations, to greet the donors, process the shoe boxes, and care for them as we get ready to ship them off. After they leave the drop-off location, our central drop-off location in this area is South Newington Baptist Church in Bloomingdale.
Okay.
So all of our 6 drop-offs, well, the other 5 drop-offs will bring their cargo to South Newington, where it will then be put onto tractor trailers and sent to Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta is our processing center.
Okay. So you had mentioned before about prayer all along the way, and we did have, so I guess time out, personal thing here. So we did have conversations about us being a drop-off center last year, and there was just some confusion that it didn't work out. But I remember when I was talking with whoever it was that had contacted us about
Karen.
that. Was it Karen?
Probably.
Yeah, that's right. Karen Sardonia. Is that right? She did mention then that when the idea was when somebody brings their boxes in and they're doing the drop off, that we were to pray with them at that point.
Yes.
So it does happen like when it goes to South Newington too. I'm like every time that drop.
Every time the shoebox is touched, that shoebox is prayed for. Yeah.
Very cool. All
That's
right.
awesome. Yeah, that's sorry. Go on.
No. So tell us some stories. I know that when I'm at the processing center, you hear stories about, how meaningful this has been for a child and those kind of things. What are there any that stand out to you that you think would be meaningful for those of us who are listening?
I do have a few that I like. Like I said, I had them written out, but just telling you, I may lose some details. But there was a child in India whose father was not a very good father, abusive, and just very negative, and just had a really bad childhood. And
don't you hear about that a lot, like from men toward women over there?
Yeah,
okay, all right.
exactly.
I don't want to disparage another country, but this is not uncommon.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we get the way that we treat women and children from Jesus.
Right.
So if Jesus is not in your,
True. Yeah.
area, then they get treated differently because they are weaker.
Sure.
But anyway, so the child went to a distribution and received their shoebox and was very excited about it. And then he also joined The Greatest Journey, which is our discipleship program. It is a 12-lesson Bible study that teaches children how to know Jesus, how to grow in their faith, and share their faith with others. And at the end of The Greatest Journey, you receive a Bible in your own language. That is often the first Bible that has entered the household.
Goodness.
Well, he did not want a Bible in his house, so he threw it away.
Huh.
And then he had a dream that told him to read the Bible. And so he did. He dug it out of the trash, and he read that Bible. And the result is that he became saved. His wife became saved. His child became saved.
Wow.
And he actually was a religious leader and quit his job his very influential, prestigious job to drive a taxi. Because he would meet so many people driving a taxi and would be able to tell them about Jesus.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, goodness gracious. All because somebody got some stuff from Walmart and threw it in a box. Yeah.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Well, good. So, I mean, any others? I love that kind of stuff.
Well, one of my favorite, this is a sort of, it's not an individual one, but another of our initiatives is sharing Jesus in unreached people groups, places that the name of Jesus has never been heard. And one of them is the Himba people of Namibia. And their culture is oral. So Samaritan's Purse partnered with the Seed Company to translate the entire book of Mark, 80 Bible stories, and The Greatest Gift, which is the evangelism booklet that children receive at the shoebox presentation, into their language and put them onto solar-powered MP3 players so that they could play it.
Okay, and hear it.
Because they didn't have a written language, really.
Wow.
It was just oral. And 50 of the children attended the Greatest Journey and graduated. And now there is a continuously growing church in that area.
Goodness gracious. So I think it's very cool because now that you mention it, I had heard about that ongoing study, but I'd forgotten about it. And so you're not talking about a one and done thing. You know?
Exactly.
Here's the box. Here's the box. Now, you know.
That is what I love about OCC. When I first heard about it, like I said, I was packing boxes with my children, I pictured something sort of like the Billy Graham Crusades, where you would preach to the children and good luck to you, you know? Yeah. Which, having found out later, that wasn't actually happening at the Billy Graham Crusades either.
Right,
there were local pastors
right.
that were there to get you plugged into a local church. And it's the same way. All of our distributions we're working through a local church or local believers that are trying to build a church so that the children have some place to be established, to grow in their faith. Because we are trying to make disciples of all nations, not just converts.
That's right.
So I love that about us.
Yes. And I didn't realize they gave out Bibles to everyone. That's...
Everyone that completes the greatest journey.
Right.
Everyone does not.
Okay, I see what you mean. I got you. Because I was thinking back in my mind. I don't remember all the kids getting it in Jamaica, but because that's the start of the journey for them.
Yes.
That does make sense.
Yeah. The first step is the evangelism of the shoebox, and then we have the discipleship of the greatest journey.
Sure.
Together, working together for the multiplication of the gospel.
Very cool. Well, so let's talk about involvement. Let's make this thing happen. Okay. So are those for us to look at, or
sure.
Okay? So we've got a couple of boxes here, and I like doing this. One of the things that I always liked about going to the processing center is you see things and you're like, I never thought about that. Yes, that's right. So I guess show us some things that you got that might be some good ideas for us.
All right.
So for those of you who are watching, we're talking now. Like if you're willing to get involved, and it's not too late, it's never too late, and you want to do a box, here are just some ideas, some things that we might could do, and maybe even along the way talk about some things that we should not do. We've talked about that at our church, but there are some people who are watching who are not a part of our church, and so there's got to be some things that you can't do, like you can't do chocolate, and so just bring it.
Edible.
Yeah, just bring it here to me, and I'll take care of that part. All right, but show us.
All right, so what we like to be included in the shoeboxes first is a wow item. One gift that when the child sees it, they will say, wow. And in this box, it is a Barbie doll. Now, I will give a little shout out to if you're going to pack one that you haven't done it yet, there are Prime Days coming up, and she was $3
Ah, there you go.
on the Prime Days in July. So you can get some really good deals there. So this is the wow gift, and this is for a girl who is 10 to 14.
Okay.
I brought both of my boxes are for older kids. People have the most questions about what to pack for the older kids, so that's
Because there are, what, 3 different age levels that...
2 to 4, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14.
Right.
So think preschool, elementary, or middle school.
I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And then I always pack school supplies. She's getting a notebook, and inside her kit there are some pencils, erasers, scissors, a pencil sharpener, and a glue stick. Now, you cannot send liquid glue. No liquids are allowed in shoeboxes, but stick glue is perfectly acceptable. We also, for the older kids, I give them colored pencils. Usually for the elementary age, they'll get markers, and the young children will get crayons. Sorry. And then I like to put in some clothing. She's going to get a t-shirt and some underwear. Underwear are great. And this is anecdotally, that I've heard from missionaries that in third world countries, having underwear sets the children apart from other children for traffickers. They leave the kids alone that have underwear.
I'm not...
Because it's assumed their parents take care of them, care about them, will notice that they are gone.
Huh.
So everybody gets underwear now.
Oh my goodness.
But like I said, that is not from Samaritan's Purse. That is from...
That's probably something they couldn't say, but that's very interesting.
And then she's getting a little stuffed animal, a stress ball, some cute socks that have little smiley faces on them, and then just the randomness that little kids love. These little fidget things, some bracelets that say God bless you, be strong, be brave, be fearless, a couple of necklaces, and then I put like toothbrushes, combs, brushes, nail clippers, different hygiene items like that.
Yeah, I've heard hygiene is a big thing
Yeah.
too.
Now you cannot put toothpaste. Like I said, it's not a liquid, but it's the same idea. And actually, nothing that goes into the body can go into a shoebox. No food, toothpaste goes into the body. No soap. Soap is now on the do not send list.
Oh my goodness,
It was
that's weird.
becoming a big problem with customs in multiple countries. Last year, I think they said something like 3 million shoeboxes were held up because of soap.
Oh my goodness.
So it just got to the point where,
You would think that would be like almost a no-brainer to include that, but
well, one of the reasons is because we allow things into our soaps that other countries do not.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's, and there's also something about like drug cartels and soap. I don't know exactly what goes on there, but
Yeah.
apparently it's a big enough thing that customs, they don't like soap. And I can tell you, Satan is trying to keep these shoeboxes out of countries. So anything that he can use to do that, if it's soap, it's not worth it.
Right, that's
So,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's
That's it.
obviously look at this.
Yeah.
This is a good box, and so obviously there's plenty of other stuff that
Yeah,
can
and
be
they're just
provided.
little trinkets and stuff that, kids just love.
Well, very nice. That's a good one. And of course, now if you're watching it, it doesn't have to be this much stuff. You might be thinking that's a lot of stuff, but I've heard of a lot in them. I've heard of a little in them. And the thing is, I think one of the things that really impressed me a lot, especially when I went to the processing center and, don't forget your barber doll. And one of the things that really made an impression on me, because they would tell stories about things that seemed to be mismatched, whether it was girl stuff being in a guy's box or vice versa, or something that would be for a younger kid in an older box and vice versa, is that when you're there at the processing center, they encourage you, other than taking out things that are not supposed to be in
Not
there,
allowed.
to leave it. Like don't
Yes.
try to undo it, because basically it is trusting in God's sovereignty.
Exactly.
That the right boxes are going to get in the right place.
Yes, God may have led someone to put something into a box. I heard a story once, and I can't remember where I heard it exactly, but that there was a child in Africa somewhere that got shoes in his shoebox, and he wore size 14.
Oh.
I would never have thought. And if you gave me a pair of size 14 shoes, I would say, no, I'm not putting that in there. It's going to take up the whole thing, and who's going to wear these?
Right.
But God knows where people need things. And so if you're led to put something weird into a shoebox, I do it now.
Yeah.
Because I've heard so many stories of things like that.
Well, I heard about I don't know if it was a Barbie doll, but it was something that would be let's see, what is the politically correct way to say it? Stereotypically for a girl that ended up in a boy's box, and it got to the boy, and he opened it up, and he was thrilled because he was really, like, his sister, I can't remember all the details, but his sister was like really sick or something like that, and he wanted to be able to give her something, and so that meant more to him than it would have if it was been something for a boy. So
and
you
a lot
just
of
don't
these
know.
children, this is the only gift they have. It's the first gift they've ever received, and the only one that they will receive. And if they're able to share in a way like that, because the sister, would not be getting a gift unless she was at the shoebox
That's right.
outreach as well. So then he's able to share, and that's just as much of a blessing. Yeah. So anything weird like that. Now, we do say, in general, follow the traditional male and female, because most of the third world areas, they are still very clear on girls do this and boys do that. But if you're led to do something like that, do it.
Yep. So is that a guys?
It is.
Well, let's talk about the guys. We've been left out so far.
So this little boy, his wow gift is a soccer ball.
Oh.
So you can deflate a soccer ball and roll it up. I've put a rubber band around it. Just make sure you put a pump in as well with the pin so that they can inflate it when they receive it.
So the pin is not going to be a problem, though? It's kind of sharp or whatever?
I tape them to the pump.
Oh, okay.
So that it's pretty clear. And the people at the distributions, this is a regular thing, so they will understand what it is and be able to explain how to do it. But you cannot assume that they will have a pump. Well, in the same way, in America, in our neighborhood, every child would bring their balls to our house to pump them up because we were the only people who had a pump. So, there are a lot of people who don't have a pump.
Yeah.
But it's good to send one. And he also is getting his notebook and school supplies. He's getting some socks and a shirt and little like Lego type things that has a picture that will explain how to do it. Sorry, I hit that.
That's fine.
And then a lot of random stuff, a disc frisbee, a stress ball, and a just little pull back and roll vehicle.
Yeah, very cool.
He also got his colored pencils and a, what do you call these? The backpacks that you, drawstrings. A drawstring backpack.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the randomness that little kids love and a little dinosaur car.
Well, very cool.
So yeah, they are, you can relatively inexpensive, obviously it's not as cheap as it used to be.
Right.
But you can relatively inexpensively fill a shoebox. Like you said, mine's, are a little bulging. They don't have to be. We do like them to be full, fun, and personal. I meant to bring one of my notes and I forgot that. Oftentimes, the favorite thing for the child in the shoeboxes is the personal note that the sender writes. They really cherish those things. So put a note into your shoebox It doesn't have to, be a letter. You can just say, God loves you. Many of them say it feels like the box was packed for them from a person as opposed to random
Right.
person in the United States.
And they're noticed. I mean, feels personal. So,
Yeah.
well, oh goodness, that made me think. Oh yeah, tell us about the because we mentioned this at church during the announcements this past Sunday, but tell us about the online option. Like you can build a box
Yes.
online.
So the Build a Shoebox online, those boxes are specifically for hard to reach areas. They can be hard to reach for two reasons. One, it can be literally hard to reach. You have to go up a crazy mountain. You have to go across, the ocean and the river and the lake and then carry it 14 miles. It's hard to reach that way. Another way that is hard to reach is areas that are closed to the gospel, areas that are hostile to the gospel and or the United States. Those are specially packed boxes that Samaritan's Purse chooses the items that go in them to make sure that they will go through customs in that country. There can be, like, let's say the notebook, the maker, they had a flag on their, logo.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Can't do that.
Huh.
And the literature that goes with the boxes, it is still the gospel story. It just looks different. Like the regular greatest gift is a nice big picture of Jesus with children around him.
Uh-huh.
In the one that goes to closed countries, Jesus is on the cover, but he's in the background. The foreground is the kids, and Jesus is still there.
Right.
But it's just not calling attention
Sure.
to him on the cover. And they're not opening up and reading it. So
Yeah.
that stuff can get through as well because they've carefully planned it
Right.
to be able to get into these countries. And those boxes are just as necessary as the traditional shoebox that can go anywhere in the world. But like I said, those can only come from Build a Shoebox online. So we like to encourage people to do both types. I used to think that it was if you're not a shopper or you just don't have time,
That's what I thought it was.
go build one online. But it is actually a separate ministry
Okay.
that is equally important. And in fact, in some ways, I don't want to say more important,
I know
but
what you
it's
mean.
very
I know.
important to get into those areas
Yeah.
where there is no gospel there.
Right. So I wish I had known this beforehand, or I wish I'd thought about this part. Can you actually, Candace, if you would, this question, if you would put this in the comments section so that people will know, how can people, like, where do people need to go online to be able to purchase that?
You can go to SamaritansPurse.org and click on Operation Christmas Child and then Build a Shoebox online.
Okay.
It's not small. It's very,
Okay.
you can see it.
We also have a QR code because we've set up.
You've set up a goal page?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Mhm.
So we have a QR code. I'll plug it in.
Okay. For those of you who are watching and you didn't hear that because she doesn't have a microphone back there, Candace, we've got a QR code. This is how technologically backward I am. I didn't even know this. I'm the pastor of the church, but we've got a QR code that if you can use your phone, camera on your phone, it'll take you straight to this particular site to be able to build the shoebox online. So.
And you can build it yourself, or you can say, build it for me, and then just pay for it and move on. You can go through the steps and choose.
It's neat to pick
Yeah,
up
I do
different
too.
things.
But if you don't want to, if you're like, I don't have time for this, then just hit build it for me and they'll do it. And there's this place for you to do the letter. You can put a picture into it if you want.
Oh, that's very cool.
They get the whole thing,
Yeah.
just like the traditional ones.
Very cool. I hope everybody's watching this. That's good.
And speaking of QR codes, it reminded me, on your adhesive, if you have an adhesive label, there is a QR code on there as well. You can use this to make your $10 donation that supports the ministry of the collecting of the shoeboxes, the processing of the shoeboxes, the transportation, the training of the ministry partners in the receiving countries and the literature that they receive. All of that, the $10 donation helps to cover.
Sure. So getting back to, we still got a few minutes left. So getting back to the processing center, because again, I'm not just trying to push our thing, which we are going Wednesday, December the 3rd is when we're going. If you want to go with us, you don't have to be a member of our church. You can still go with us, but we need to know that as soon as possible to make sure that we have, transportation for everyone and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not just looking at that. I am looking for talking about how people can get involved, and so obviously the processing center is one of those. So kind of tell us briefly what goes on at a processing center. I mean, it is a humongous warehouse,
It is,
and
it's huge.
you're right. There's just, and when you say that there are hundreds of people there, you're right. But there's only hundreds at the time that you're there, because the whole time people are coming and they're going, and so before it's all over with, there are literally thousands of people that have come into this warehouse to do the same thing, and so like how they get everybody on task and keep everybody on task and get the job done, it's amazing. So tell us what goes on at the warehouse.
So at the warehouse, there is a table where there will be 4 stations. Someone takes the shoeboxes out of the cartons that they arrived in and sorts them into boys and girls. Someone will be, well, at least one, you'll need more than one person.
Right, that's right.
To
Yes.
look through the shoeboxes, to take out anything that is not supposed to be in there. And like I said, liquids, anything edible, anything medicinal like SPF, nothing SPF can go into the shoebox. Nothing scary, scary. Not like dinosaurs are not scary, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But like things that are intended to look like evil things
Right.
will be taken out. Anything war related that you can wear. A lot of these places, there are child soldiers. So we don't want...
And see, we don't even think about that stuff
Yeah,
here.
anyone wearing camouflage from, a shoebox that is... Someone might think that they are a child soldier. You definitely don't want that going on.
Who would think of that?
I know,
like here.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
And no weapons, like Nerf guns are fine, but no weapons. You know the difference.
No
in
BB
something,
guns in
yes.
here.
So those are the things that I can think of at the moment that are definite no's.
So another thing that I was, the very first time I went to the processing center, this is what surprised me because, again, something I never thought of, and you can tell me if it's still banned, but you could not even put in little army men. I mean, like army men, I grew up with those things, and they seem so benign, but it's promoting war.
In a war-ravaged area.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it
who thought of
could
that?
send a signal that, we don't want to remind them of things
Sure,
that they
right.
would rather not have to think about.
Right.
And so, like plain army in the United States where we're safe is one
Right,
thing,
that's
but
right.
if you're not necessarily safe, it might not be. But so that's what one group of people will be, is looking for things that are not supposed to be in the shoebox. And also recognizing any shoebox that might need a little bit of help. We have a shoebox hospital that where you can help out a shoebox that needs some help. And then there's someone who wraps it up in tape, which is more of a job than you think it is,
It is.
after you've been doing that for a few minutes. And then someone who puts them back into the carton and moves them over to the conveyor belt and sends them down the line.
Do they still have people who scan?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's
That was
scanning.
my favorite job, was scanning the thing.
Yeah, that's my-
So, basically, you scan something. There's usually something on the side, and you.
It's actually, the carton has a code that needs to be scanned.
And that's right. And you got to pack these things in a bigger box that will then be sent off. So yes, I do remember that. But anyway.
And we do try to get at least 14, preferably 15 shoeboxes into a box. So we prefer boxes that are this size, like a medium-sized shoebox. We will accept any size, but obviously the bigger shoeboxes are going to take up more space. Then we're sending fewer shoeboxes.
Right. Yeah, because what you're putting them in is a big cardboard box that is obviously is pre-sized. They're all the same size, and it's all designed by design. These
Yeah.
fit in there just perfectly,
Yes, perfectly.
at a certain number, and so of course sometimes you get those big, the big plastic ones, which I guess the plastic ones can be used by the people who get them.
Yes,
But
and and OCC does have one that is basic, because you can get as many of those into a carton as these, but different brands of them. Some are bigger, some are smaller.
Right.
But as long as it's the general, size of a medium shoebox,
Sure.
those are all good to go. And like I said, we will accept any size, because once again, if God leads you to get out your boot box and fill that thing full, then he may have a family
That's
of
right.
people who
You don't
are.
never know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You really have to adopt an eternal viewpoint on this, knowing that when you send it, you can put a label on there that allows you to follow it. It'll track it for you.
Yes, if you use this QR code, it's the easiest way to do that.
Uh-huh. So you can do that, and you can see where it gets to where it goes, but you're just going to have to trust. Once you send that away, even if you have that QR code, the QR code, that's going to run out at some point. Like it's only going to get you so far, and from there you just have to say, God, take this, use it how you intend to. Please use it to make a difference, and you won't know until you're in heaven. And I do believe you'll know when you get to heaven. I honestly do.
I believe we will all be reunited with our shoebox.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the very last verse, we will know as we have been known.
Yes.
And so you'll know then, but not until then
Yeah.
will you know the effect that where it went, what it meant, the effect that it had. You just won't know. And so you just got to trust God with it. So that's kind of, yeah. What else? Any other ways that you can think of that you'd like, anything else that you'd like to tell us about Operation Christmas Child? Any other ways that people can get involved? Anything like that?
Well, my main job is I am the volunteer area coordinator for the Savannah area. I cover Chatham, Bryan, and Liberty counties. And I am building a team of people whose goal is to expand the footprint of Operation Christmas Child. We are only in roughly 25% of evangelical churches. Just evangelical. Yeah. So you can imagine the growth that we could have in this area with a fully functioning and fully staffed team. It could be amazing. So right now I am looking for a community relations coordinator to help us get into community groups in the area. Like you said, it's not just churches that pack. We would also like to extend the opportunity to community, like, I can't think of anything at the moment, but any...
Kiwanis Club.
There you go, yes.
Businesses.
Rotary, you know, all those things, businesses, anything that is not actually a church, but, or meets together, can pack shoeboxes. And so
Homeowners Association?
Yes.
That kind of stuff, yeah.
We could get into a lot of different areas. So we are looking for the person that God is calling to work with us in that area to, like I said, expand the impact of the ministry. And our church relations team is always looking for more people to come on board to expand the, to grow the ministry, to get into new churches. There is obviously, a limit to where, we can keep coming and saying, hey, Emmanuel, pack more boxes. But you have a limit to how many that you can pack. But bringing another church on board multiplies the ministry. So that is what the church relations team is tasked with doing, getting into new churches while also supporting the churches that are already packing and at the beginning of the year affirming and celebrating with them the harvest that God brought in. And our logistics team, like I said, this year we are full. I'm so excited. We have drop-off locations everywhere that we should have one, and we have 2 in Savannah. So that's very exciting. And we also have a prayer team, a team of people who are dedicated to prayer for Operation Christmas Child in general, the ministry, our team in this area. And as you know, the more you pray, the more you will grow.
Sure.
That, like Franklin Graham says, prayer is the backbone of this ministry. There are so many places along the way in Operation Christmas Child where Satan can get a foothold and try to put a spanner in the works. And it's not that hard to do. They talked last year at our conference, they talked about one country where it was one thing after another. They were just pray, 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 pray. And the door would open, it would be stopped.
Yeah.
The door would open, stop.
Yeah.
The door would open, and it was amazing that God is doing that.
Right.
So we need to be constantly going to him in intentional prayer for OCC. So our prayer team is also always looking for people who would like to join us in that ministry.
Okay, so if somebody wants to do one of those or anything to be involved in any way, how can they contact you about that?
You can contact me personally at LoriGilroy@hotmail.com. All one word, all lowercase, LoriGilroy. You can also just go to SamaritansPurse.org and click on volunteer. When you put in your information and check off Operation Christmas Child and you live in Savannah, that information is going to come to me.
Okay. So that'll be in the comment section, all right? And then the last thing is, again, a shameless plug. If you want to join us and go into the Processing Center on December the 3rd, it's a Wednesday, and it's going to take up the whole day because, Atlanta's 4 hours from here, and that's, we're not even talking about a bus. We're just talking about normal driving. So it's going to be an all-day trip, but we will go and come back the same day. If you want to join us with that, then you can contact the church office, and you can also check out that in the comment section. The phone number will be there, or I guess you're on the website. You can find it. But anyway, just contact us and let us know.
You will be so blessed by the ministry of the Processing Center.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot. And you don't really, I've never heard anybody who was not wowed by having gone.
Yeah.
Like even my daughter, when she was, my middle child, my older daughter, even when she went as a preteen, I think, even she was like, I want to go back. So, anyway.
That's why I talked with my husband that this is the one ministry I know of where, you've got people planning trips around working in your ministry, 4 hours away. Yeah. It's, that's amazing. Yeah. We can't even get anything at our church, But
I hear you.
They just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very well done.
Well, Lori, I do appreciate your time. Thank you for coming and sharing with us, and thank you all for watching. Why don't we close in prayer, and then we'll let y'all go. God, we do recognize your sovereignty, and we thank you that when we hear you and when we follow you, that it might be just something so simple. And this really is. Just thinking about the whole our part in this, and just putting stuff in a shoebox and letting that go, and yet you can take that and you can multiply that effect many times more than what we think it would do, and it can really affect not just a child, but it can affect a family, and it can affect a community, and even beyond that. And so Lord, we entrust this whole thing to you. We pray for this ministry. We pray for our part in it, and Lord, I pray that as we do follow you, we want to hear about the results, and we thank you when we do. But even if we don't, we just entrust that to you, and we look forward to how you're going to use us in ways that we won't know about until we're with you. Again, I thank you for Lori and her service in this ministry, and I appreciate her coming and hanging out with us. And so I pray that you bless her and her ministry. And now we just give it all up to you. And for those who are watching, God, I pray that you'd guide them in what you'd have them do. and that they would follow you no matter how simple it might sound. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, Lori, thank you. Thank you all. We will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great evening.